Here we have the new 2025 Toyota Corolla. This one comes in the LE trim level in ruby flare pearl. And then we have black and ash fabric interior. The powertrain consists of a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, and that's mated to a continuously variable transmission. As we come around to the front end here, we do get our standard LED headlamps and a nice look there. This is a beautiful, beautiful car in this ruby flare pearl. As we come down to the wheels here, these are 16-inch steel, but the wheel covers look really good. Now to the door panel here, we get one-touch up and down windows on all 4 doors, rear window lock, power door lock controls, power mirror controls. Auto high beams are there. Hood release, you get a manual tilt, telescoping steering wheel. And then here's our 6-way manual driver's seat. Trunk release here, gas cap release there. But a big thanks to John Roberts Toyota for allowing me to review this Corolla today. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you're looking to find the best price on one of these close to the home though, click that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information, and I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this or whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. Now, having the seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs, really impressed by the legroom in this compact car. Very surprised that I'm actually able to sit back here. I have better room in here than some mid-sized trucks. Headroom back here is good. Could have more seat, room in my hip area, but not really a big deal. 2 USB-C charge ports. LED lights throughout. And then the middle seat folds down. Bottle holders are there in the middle. Grab handle here, and you can hang a shirt or a pair of pants on that hook. Child locks are here. Lock, unlock. And there's the gas cap. But over here to the cargo space, pretty good sized trunk, I think. It has an all-weather mat here, and then we're gonna pull up down here. There's your spare and the jack and everything down there. There's a look at the back end. There's the exhaust. Now let's check out the view from the rear passenger side here. Now your top tethers are integrated up top there behind the seat. And then you have the cover for the lower latch anchors here. Now to fold these seats down, you have a little button on either side so you can push it from right here. It's kind of hard to do, because I can barely fit in this opening while doing that. And then that'll fold flat and you can run longer objects through if you so choose. Now to the window sticker, y'all can pause anywhere you need to take a closer look at anything, but here are all the standard features. Then a few options on this one. Fuel economy 32 city, 41 highway. And then sticker price is $24,549. And there is our manual front passenger seat. That's 4-way. And then our glove compartment here with the owner's manuals. So as we come back around to the front end, just a quick look in the engine bay. And there's that 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. Let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat next. So we have a hard vinyl steering wheel here. There's the horn. Over here to the screen, I believe this is going to be an 8-inch screen. So for the audio sources, we do get Apple Music, Amazon, and then we have AM, FM, XM along with Bluetooth, wireless CarPlay, and wireless Android Auto compatibility. And then in your general settings here, if you want to change your language or units of measurement, that's where you do it. And if you want to connect to the navigation subscription, you can do that as well. There's the backup camera. Hazards are here. Now down here we get a single zone manual climate control, so we can turn the auto on and then turn it down by adjusting the fan speed. We have the eco heat and cool. We can change fan direction here. Everything else pretty self-explanatory. Cut the system off, defrosters, the AC. And down here you get a USB-C charge port. Pretty good storage there. And then your traction control button, you can toggle that here. Now for the shifter, just grab the lever, pull down, reverse, neutral, drive, and then you have the braking mode there. So, and then you have your automatic brake hold and your electronic parking brake. Pull up to engage, hit the brake, press down to disengage. 2 bottle holders here. Center console cubby space, you get a 12 volt and a USB-C charge port. Up here, you can decide whether you want the lights to come on when you open the door or not. And then if you turn that off, they won't. You can turn the lights on there, and then you can hit either side like that. And then your SOS right here. There's a look at the back seat from up here. Vanity mirror. We don't have a light for that, but it is what it is. Now back to the steering wheel itself. Blinkers, high beams. We do have automatic headlamps, so you can turn those to auto there, and then you can turn the daytime running lights off there. And then intermittent wipers on this side, one time off, intermittent, low, high. And then these 4 arrows in this back button are for the digital part of the gauge cluster here. We also have tire pressure monitors. And then we can fool with all of our safety assist or driving assist features in here. And then hold this to change a few other settings. But phone, volume, voice recognition, audio sources are toggled here. Track list and radio station presets can be toggled there. And then with the driving support system, change your mode from adaptive to regular here, adjust the gap for the adaptive there, and then you can activate the driving support system by pushing this button when all of this is activated. And there's our key fob, and we have the key in the ignition. Next, let's go ahead and take this 2025 Corolla LE out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this Corolla LE here, have about 25 miles, at least according to the gauge here, until the tank is empty. So we're gonna see what it says after the test route. But as of now, I mean, the car is driving very nicely in terms of just the overall maneuverability. It's very easy to just get behind the wheel of this and start going. And even though I wouldn't necessarily consider it agile, it still handles pretty nicely for what it is. So it's one of those things that if you need to bust a move in it, you can. Just in terms of the steering dynamic, because it is so low to the ground, it's a 4-door compact car. But my favorite thing is definitely the driving support system. Just here on a 2-lane highway, I tested it out earlier on a 4-lane just road in town, and it did such a great job. And it's one of the better driver support systems, even compared to the co-pilot in the Mustang Mach-E that I have, just because you get this thing going, it doesn't sway back and forth or anything like that. It's just like direct. It's very unintrusive, whereas every so often my co-pilot will kind of just like ping or go off a little bit and then say take control of the car. The small stretch of road that I took on with this was at least as good as the co-pilot in the Ford. So that's pretty commendable, I think, especially since this car is less than 25 grand compared to my Mach-E that had, I think it cost like 52 or 53 for California Route 1. I'm on this construction road here, and it's driving so nicely. It's just very comfortable, very simple. Just one hand on the steering wheel, car's doing the rest of the work. And I only have one hand on the steering wheel because these lines are basically non-existent. So the driving support system is not going to be able to see these the best, if that makes sense. It's kind of seeing them now. It's doing a pretty good job, but I wouldn't risk it where the lines are starting to fade. Now, in terms of visibility, really easy to see out of. I love how they did the A-pillar over here, making that really skinny, and then putting that window over here to the side to just make it that much easier to see out of. And the hood, I cannot see at all from this point of view. So that's really good. It just makes it that much easier to see what's in front of me. And then the little things like the automatic climate control, even though it's single zone, is great to have that, because most people that get these cars, they commute in them. A lot of the times they're single people. So for someone like me, maybe like 10 years ago, before I had a kid and all that, this would be perfect because I just commute back and forth to work. I'm just kind of living my own life. And that's why these are so sought after, because especially if you're in an apartment complex in the city, things of that nature, you do a lot of stop and go traffic, these still get great fuel economy. And then if you want to take a road trip to go see your parents or whatever, you're getting 41 miles per gallon. But yeah, I just can't say enough how good it feels to be behind the wheel of this. It's so comfortable for it to be an LE trim level. I don't even have a power seat, but I just feel good here. Now, I do want to give one more thanks to John Roberts Toyota for allowing me to review this car today. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click on that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information, and I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this or whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. Let's give it a pull here. Here we go. Now, honestly, that was pretty decent. With a continuously variable transmission, it's so weird because the transmission is always trying to be more efficient than anything. And if it starts to kind of get lower in the revs too soon, you do have to put your foot down a little bit, and then it kind of shoots back up. So it's a bit cumbersome, but for the most part, I mean, it does its job, and that's how you're able to get those fuel economy numbers. But great ride quality coming down the interstate here. And just having the Safety Sense 3.0, can't go wrong with that. One of the best driver support systems I've experienced. Just because of how good it is, but also with how non-intrusive it is. You know, you just activate it. It wants you to keep your hands on the steering wheel, but it's not super hard to keep it going the way it's supposed to. You don't have to like make sure it sees you and all of this other stuff, and it's just easy to use. Whereas in my Mach-E, it's always like, I'll be looking right at it and it's telling me, hey, keep your eyes on the road. And it's a bit annoying, but I get why they do that for safety. But for people who pay attention while they're driving and kind of know their car, it's just kind of annoying. Now, the wind is coming in just a little bit. It's very windy out today, and the overall insulation here feels pretty good. It's not bothering me at all, again, even though it's very windy out on the interstate. And road noise is basically non-existent. But I wouldn't mind driving this thing back and forth to Chicago, just with how well it drives, how easy it is to just get the driver support system going. It does everything and you just have to kind of hold your hands here. So I mean, if you're looking for a decent commuter car under 25 grand, and then something that'll also serve as a great road trip car, make sure you take a look at the 2025 Toyota Corolla in the LE trim level.